Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Juan the Yarn Addict and I'd like to welcome you to episode 103 of my podcast where we talk about all things yarn, and I have crochet and knitting to share with you. Today is October 10th, 2025, and I'd like to offer a huge hello and welcome to anyone new or anyone returning back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out today's podcast episode. In this episode, as always, we begin with coffee talk. It is the admin portion of the show. From there, we jump into finished objects, also known as FOs. From there, we dive into the whips, also known as works in progress. After that, I have two acquisitions to share with you, and then we're going to get into the replay treats. So I have treats coming in and treats going out. After that, to round out the podcast episode, I have two pieces of Happy Mail to share with you. So if any of this is of interest to you, feel free to sit back and enjoy the podcast. Before we begin, please remember to hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and then of course share the video. I would definitely appreciate the support. With that, let's jump into coffee talk, and the question of the hour is what is on the mug, and today I brought out the llamas. It's so nice, we see it twice. There we go. I pulled this out because I woke up to a very brisk 42 degrees here in Nowhere, Delaware, and I thought it was very fitting. I'm still not sure if these are snowflakes or stars. So the mug is navy blue, which means it could be nighttime, and these little puff balls here could be stars. I'm not sure. What do you think? Stars or snowflakes? I'm not really sure. I'm going to take them for now as snowflakes because it's cold outside. But it's what's on the inside, as always, that matters most. And I have Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut coffee with caramel macchiato creamer. It's my favorite. It's my go-to. If you haven't tried it, please try it. It's great. So I'm going to set that there for right now. I have 2 bullet points for coffee talk. Before I get into those, I'm just going to put it out there as I always do. In the show notes, you will find links to places outside of YouTube where you can find me. So feel free to jump into the show notes to find out all that information, including things that I may talk about. Okay, so let's jump into the 2 bullet points. And the first one here is Taco Tuesday. So season 3, week 3 kicked off this past Tuesday. And I read the cards as a gentle reminder for what the challenges are. And as of right now, for season 3, we have a season-long challenge, which is pick a whip, any whip, and have it done by the next Taco Tuesday. It's a great, great challenge for me anyway, because it's really helping me knock out my whips. So I love that challenge for me. I hope you guys are finding it enjoyable as well. So for week 3, we have 3 cards, 2 of which are People's Choice. So we changed it up a little bit. So we gave 2 cards to the audience where I took down suggestions. I put them on a sheet of paper, and then I called out on someone in the live and they picked a number. Actually, I called out 2 people. They each picked a number, and here are the cards. So the first one here for People's Choice is create a small vintage make, any color, any size. So small vintage make. And then People's Choice number 2, make a pink wind spinner. So there's that. All right, and then the third card here is the one that we pulled out of the jar, and it says to create and make using a color-based creation towards a season, holiday, or cause. So what I took away from that was create and make based off of a cause, a holiday, or a season, and use those relatable colors for the cause, the season, or the holiday. So, all right, that is the challenge, and next Taco Tuesday, we'll see what we come up with. So I'm super excited about that, especially the vintage one, because I love all things vintage. It's great. Okay, so the second bullet point is the tutorial release. So I released a tutorial just yesterday, October the 9th, and it's for Cancer Awareness Month, and it is called The Crown of Courage. Here is the pattern. I put it in my post tab that I have a free pattern for you all on my Ravelry, so feel free to check that out. My Ravelry is Juan the Yarn Addict. You can go on there and there will be this freebie pattern sitting there waiting for you. Front and back, that's what it looks like. Super, super nice. I created this beanie again for Cancer Awareness Month, and this is what it looks like. It's a very, very simple, very easy to do design. You have half double crochets, double crochets, and then you have this knotted stitch right here. Super, super nice. This is a 5-round repeat. I also give instructions for those of you who wish to make a hat instead of a beanie. So this is 2 repeats. If you want to make a hat version that folds and cuffs at the bottom, you're going to repeat the 5 rounds 4 times. So it's very, very simple and easy to do. I worked this up with a 6mm US letter J, and the yarn is Loops and Threads Soft Classic in pink. It is a lovely color of pink. I took an oath for the month of October in honor of Cancer Awareness Month. I'm not going to speak of my aversion to the color pink. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to talk about how much I love the color, especially this color. Isn't it great? I love this color of pink for me. Anyway, feel free to check out the pattern. I may sprinkle some more patterns and designs and things like that throughout the month in honor of Cancer Awareness Month. So feel free to just stay tuned. Please stay tuned for this. All right. So that is pretty much all I have for Coffee Talk. With this, let's jump into finished objects. I think my count is at 8 finished objects. I'm very excited about this. I've been very, very busy this week. I have lots of yarn to the hook and needles and things. Very excited. Okay, so finished objects. Let's start with the Boggy Creek blankets. So I've been making blankets for Camp Boggy Creek, and I have this goal of 76. So I had 26 blankets completed, and then I reset the clock. I speak about this all the time. So at 26, I reset the clock in honor of Nana June. I designed a blanket, Nana June's Blessing, and so the goal is to create 50 additional blankets in addition to the ones I've already done, because Nana June's goal was to do 50 blankets for this season. So in honor of her, I have changed my goal to a total of 76. So the 26 plus the 50. Okay. And so let's get started. Now the goal was, as of last week, okay, so last week I had 44 completed blankets. And so I needed 6 blankets this week to take me to 50. And I'm happy to report that I hit my goal. So I'm about to show you 6 completed Boggy Creek blankets. So without further ado, let's jump into the first one. And the first one here is a scrap GAN Boggy Creek blanket. 40 by 40 square. I took a scrap cake and went to town with it with a 6mm US letter J, 40 inches by 40 inches. And for the final round, I did a single crochet in Loops and Threads Soft Classic in white. Very, very nice. So 40 inches by 40 inches, all the colors. I made this scrap cake, and then I just continued on. And with this particular scrap cake, I knotted all of the yarns instead of using slip knot. I just knotted everything and just went from beginning to end. And I believe this took 2 of my scrap cakes. So very, very nice. So there's the first one. I'll fold this a little neater later. The second one here is my Christmas themed Boggy Creek blanket. Here it is, 40 inches by 40 inches. We'll step back. So the red and the white is Loops and Threads Soft Classic. Very nice. And then the variegated yarn is Red Heart Super Saver in that Christmas yarn. Very, very nice. And I used a 7mm prim hook for this. Very, very nice. And the pattern here is my offset V-stitch. I do have a tutorial for this for both left and right-handed crocheters if you're interested. It's a very short tutorial. It's a very easy pattern to do. I also have a written pattern on my Ravelry if you need it. So very, very nice. Very soft and squish. So that's number 2. Number 3 is a modern granny stripe. Let me show you this. Once again, 40 by 40. I use my leftover yarns from last season's Luck of the Draw. I use this yarn for Ripples in the Creek by Mama Swift, and this is my leftover yarns from that. So Red Hot Phlox is on the bottom. Dapper Daphne is this color right here. And Catelli Bronze is this color here. And I'm not exactly sure what the name of this one is. I lost the ball band. But this is the blanket. Super, super nice. And then I went around the blanket in another colorway to just give it some width. So there is another colorway on the sides there. And then to round off the blanket here, I did 2 singles, chain 1, 2 singles, chain 1, all the way around in black. And again, Loops and Thread Soft Classic. Very, very nice. I worked this up with a 6mm US letter J prim hook. This actually worked up very, very fast. I was surprised, but just give you a close-up of those stitches. Very, very nice. Out of all the colorways in this blanket, Dapper Daphne is my favorite, and believe it or not just because of the purple, but also because of the neon yellow there. Very colorful blanket. So this is number 3. Number 4 is the blanket that I showed for my Taco Tuesday challenge for last week, which was to run 2 variegated yarns together. So 40 inches by 40 inches, and the yarn is a combination of 2 different yarns. So 2 different variegated yarns ran together. Here we have Loops and Threads Soft Classic Multi and Fiesta Multi, and then I also had a Timu yarn using different colors than what was represented in the Loops and Threads yarn. So this is kind of what you got here. Super, super nice. And I worked this up with a 9mm US letter M, as in Mark. It worked up really, really quick. Okay. So that is number 4, I believe, right? Let's see, wait. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Number 5 is Luck of the Draw. So the last week of Luck of the Draw aired just yesterday, and I put the finishing touches on my Boggy Creek blanket, and this is Pique My Interest from Jax over at Creations by Jax. Here are all of my weeks. I'm going to stand back and show you. So 40 inches by 40 inches square. Very, very nice. All 10 weeks on the blanket. Each strip is 4 inches, 10 weeks, 40 inches. Very, very nice. And then what I did for the border is I did 1 row of half double crochet and then 1 row of single crochet to just give it a nice little edge on both sides. So there you have it. All right, let me grab my chair once more. Up and down, up and down. Okay, so what? How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5. And number 6 is a pattern that I designed that has not been released yet. So I can't really speak too much about it, but I will show it to you. It is my 13-point star blanket. Here it is. 13-point star blanket. It's a stitch medley. It's got a bunch of stitches in here. Very, very, very nice. And this, all the yarn here is Loops and Thread Soft Classic. White, light blue. I believe this is aqua, and then the butter yellow. Very, very nice. And this measures 41 inches. I tried to keep it at 40, but with my tension, I went up at 41 inches. Almost a full repeat here. But yeah, super, super nice. So stay tuned for this. The pattern is already written. It's already been tested. And yeah, when the time is right, I will release the tutorial. So 6 blankets for Camp Boggy Creek. And I'm not done. I still have more finished objects. So for Luck of the Draw 12, I also had a concurrent project running with the blanket. And here it is. Here is the long-awaited hat and scarf set, done in all the greens. So this is all Loops and Threads impeccable yarn. This is kind of what the skein looks like. Loops and Threads impeccable in all the greens. I'm going to show my little card for this one because of all the different greens. So there you have it. I just took a piece of cardboard from a box and wrote everything with a permanent marker. So I numbered everything and put little reminders for myself. And then on the back, I actually had to write like what the project was, hat and scarf set, and then offset V-stitch for the scarf. And then I have double crochet, half double crochet, and singles for this. So let me go ahead and unfold this and show you the full length of it. It came out a little longer than I had expected, but that's okay. For the first half of Luck of the Draw, I ran with double crochet and half double crochet in between with the base color. And then for the back half of Luck of the Draw 12, I shrank down my stitches. I went from half double crochet to single crochet for this section right here. So I prefer the hats that fold over, so that's why I made it like this. And I like a thick fold over just to cover my ears, my forehead, and my neck. So this is what it looks like. Perfect. I love how it turned out. Yep, 100%. I'm a fan. And here is my offset V-stitch scarf / shawl. All 10 weeks. I felt that I didn't need to extend it at all. I thought it was big enough as is with all 10 weeks. So each week has 3 rows of the color and then 1 row of the base to separate each week. And then for the final week, at the very, very end, I just went into each V with a granny stitch all the way down, and then I went across the top twice. So I inserted 2 half double crochets in every stitch for the first row to just give it a solid base, and then I went back a final pass with single crochets to just make it nice and flat, and it turned out wonderful. I love it. So it's very vibrant and bright and very green. Very green. This sweater's not the right sweater for this, but that's okay. You get the gist of it. I'll do this just to kind of cover it up. So super nice. I could have went with a second one and made a poncho, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. You know, I went into Michael's, as I mentioned before, I went into Michael's and said to myself, I wanted to do a Luck of the Draw project running with, you know, different shades of the same color. Whatever they had in stock on that day is what I went with. And the only color that they had 5 shades of green in was, or 5 shades of a color was green. And so that's how I wound up with this color. And I'm very glad that I did this because I didn't realize I actually like green as much as I do. I really had a lot of fun with this color. So yeah, there's that. So that makes 8 finished objects, but for Taco Tuesday, I did finish 2 additional donation hats. I did one in the same, with the same yarn as my Boggy Creek blanket. This is all the yarn that I had left over, and I didn't want to waste it, so I just made a quick donation hat, all in half double crochet from the crown to the brim. Super nice. I apologize, with exception to the very last round, it's single crochet. You can't really notice it, but the last round here is single crochet. It's definitely a choice to wear all these colors on your head, but you know, some people really like all the colors on their head, and I like that for them. So again, a donation hat, and then here's another one that I did. So I did a modification to the PDQ hat that I put out. It's the PDQ hat has like a very basic double crochet crown. I put some ribbing here just to give it a little bit of a pop. And then the rest of it from the crown to the brim is the PDQ pattern. So a one skein wonder. And there you have this one. Very, very nice. Again, donation hat. I'm going to put all these in the washer and then the dryer and then put them in my donation bag. All right. So that is what I have for finished objects. Now I have leftover yarn from my luck of the draw. And so now this becomes Boggy Creek yarn. So now I'm going to take the rest of the yarn that I have because I don't want to waste it. And I'm going to see, I have a base color here. And yeah, I think this is all I have left. So I have 4 shades of green and a full skein of the base color. So I'm going to take all of this and make a Boggy Creek blanket. One of these is 285 yards. So 3, and if I have to, I may have to add to this, or you know what I could do? I could get a skein of Big Twist Value Pound Plus in perhaps a white and run the white with this yarn here to really stretch it out. And I'll use like a 7mm crochet hook just to make sure that I'm not, you know, wasting the yarn. So yeah, I may just do that. Stay tuned. Okay, so there's the leftover yarn from that one. And then I have leftover yarn from my Pique My Interest. And this is all Red Heart Super Saver. I'm just going to give it a little bit of an appearance here. All primary colors. And so I'm just, I actually think this is enough to make another blanket for Boggy Creek without having to run any yarn with it. I think, yeah, just by the weight alone, I feel like this is enough. So if I run short, I mean, I have enough of this right behind me. It's literally where I pulled it from. So if I have to, I will, but I'm going to try and make a point to not pull a fresh skein. I may run with what I just have here. So maybe another offset V-stitch. I love that pattern. It's a very quick go-to. So, all right. Now we're going to jump into the works in progress. So I've got a lot of whips going, but I had to be very selective on what I presented to you guys. One is a knit whip and the other one is a crochet whip. One that you've seen already, but I think it's been a week or two since I've shown it. So this is my offset V-stitch in the round, all variegated yarn, and I've made some progress with this. And so we are 3 cakes in. I have 2 cakes left to go. I may add more to it because right now we're at 45 inches square. So it's pretty big, but I want it to be a lot larger. So very, very nice. It kind of looks like stained glass. I'm really enjoying the way that the yarn is working up. And I'm just working with the cake. No rhyme, no reason. However it's coming out of the cake is how I'm crocheting it. I'm not controlling the yarn at all. And I have to tell you that I'm really, really enjoying the process of making this because I'm not bored of the colors. It's just always a different color. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. If I didn't have to do 1,000,001 other things, I probably would have had this done already because of how much I enjoy crocheting it. But yes, this one is for me. Very excited. And I have an example of one of the cakes. All variegated yarn, no solids whatsoever. Most of the yarn here is discontinued vintage yarn, but I do have some, I don't want to say new, newer variegated yarn mixed in here. So, but all variegated nonetheless, and it's turning out wonderful. I have some camo in here, which you can go to Walmart right now and pick up, but it makes a really nice dark frame around the blanket. And then if you have a lighter variegated yarn, it kind of, that contrast really makes it pop, as you can see right here. So I'm working this up with a 6mm US letter J prim hook. So hopefully the next time you see this blanket, it will be completed, but I have to see what size it actually turns out to be before making that decision. I don't want to just rely on using the cakes to determine if it's done or not, because I have tons of these variegated scrap cakes that I made recently. So I'm not worried about running out of yarn by any stretch of the imagination. So stay tuned for that. All right. The last work in progress that I have to show you today is one that I started on the 8th of October, so 2 days ago. And this is a recipe that I pulled from Aberdeen Wool. So recently I made a purchase for their pickle jar. Here it is. And I took the recipe out of the jar and I decided to choose another yarn. So I wanted a muted version of this first. I wanted to see what it looked like first in a quieter yarn. And so here it is. I'll tell you everything you need to know once I show this to you. So in 2 days, this is what I was able to knit. Not bad considering having 6 Boggy Creek blankets done. So I'm very proud of myself for this. At first, I thought it was giving me a Linus, like a Linus pattern, but it's not. It is quite different than a Linus in terms of how you are increasing and decreasing. So very, very nice nonetheless. It's very slender. It's not as thick, but then again, I'm not exactly sure what this is going to look like in the long run, which is one of the reasons why I decided to choose another yarn first before using my Aberdeen Wool wee skeins is what I think they call these, wee skeins. And so let me just pop one of these out here and show you. I do have one of the balls, one of the wee skeins balled up and ready to go. But here you go. This is a wee skein. Very, very little. So the recipe calls for this entire jar. This jar houses 40 of these little baby wee skeins, and you need every bit of this. And so the recipe calls for a 4mm circular knitting needle, which they provide in this kit. So it's a sock weight yarn, and they're suggesting a 4mm circular. So the yarn I chose is not that thin. I chose worsted weight. So here is a cake of the yarn, a fresh cake. And let me tell you the details. And believe it or not, I'm getting better. I have it all written down right here. So this yarn is from Tamarack Farm. It's local to me in Spring Mills, Pennsylvania. I can literally drive there. Super, super nice. The colorway is Winter Rose on Oatmeal. This is kettle dyed and hand painted. I'm going to be using 2 hanks for this project. Each cake comes to us with 200 yards, 4 ounces a piece. And the yarn is Icelandic wool with 20 to 30% merino, not superwash. So this is hand wash, lay flat to dry. Now the pattern calls for 4mm needles for sock weight. I modified using worsted weight yarn and a 5.5 circular chalgoo lace. So that's what this is here. These are circulars, chalgoo circulars 5.5s. And I think I chose the 24-inch length or the 40. This may be the 40s. But again, I went to this size because I'm not exactly sure how wide it's going to be. So I just wanted to be prepared. Based off of the picture, it looks like it's pretty long, or pretty wide rather. So I just wanted to make sure that I was prepared for whatever this was going to turn out to be. Now, again, I'm using worsted weight yarn. The picture is showing you what it looks like using sock weight yarn. And based off of my calculations, this here is housing around 400 and some change yards. I have 400 yards of a worsted weight, so almost the same, but I'm thinking it's going to turn out the same size because I have thicker yarn. So we'll see. I will definitely keep you tuned. And because I'm keeping notes, I will jot down anything that I may come across along my way. So that is all I have for my whips. Super fast, fun, and easy. Maybe next week I'll have more whips. We'll see. Okay, so from here we are going to jump into the acquisitions. I have 2 acquisitions to share with you. The first one here is from Mary Maxim. So I am subscribed to their Knit Club of the Month and their Quarterly Crochet Club of the Month, or Quarterly Crochet Club. There you go. So this one here, I believe, is my knit kit. Let's take a look and see what's on the inside here. I keep talking about wanting to discontinue doing it, and then all of a sudden I get a really nice one and then I keep it. I do want to tell you that I was slightly disappointed with the Afghan kit that I recently got because none of the yarn had ball bands around them. It was almost like they stuffed just flat ball bands in the side of the bag. And while the yarn is anti-pilling acrylic, which is really great for wearables and things, I think the actual pattern that they gave me was not something that I was interested in at all. So either that particular kit will turn out to be a replay giveaway, or, you know, just something I gift to someone, or I may take that recipe and just put it to the side and create something of my own with that yarn. So we'll see. Okay, so this is the Knit Club of the Month, which it runs $18.99, and they charge $4.99 for shipping. So all of it together is $23.98, which isn't too bad. I mean, all things considered, it's not a bad price. All right. So this time around, we have a cowl, headband, and dicky set. One size fits most. This is what it looks like. And let's look at the recipe, and then we'll look at the yarn. So cowl, headband, and dicky. Dark yarn for sure. I may just very well be interested in this. So the yarn is a bulky 5-weight yarn, A+. I love thicker yarn. It's amazing. And let's see, we have the colorway Smoke. No, is it Smoke? No, it's Almond. So the colorway is Almond. I'll show the yarn in a moment. They are suggesting a 6mm 10.5 circular needle, or any size needed for gauge. So then, of course, we have the recipe for all 3. Very nice. Okay, let's look at the yarn. A fresh sleeve of Red Heart Huga yarn. Ooh. This yarn is very nice. It's very soft. If you've worked with this before, you know how this feels. It's very soft and squish. It is on the fuzzy side, which is okay. It's not hairy. I mean, it's not like eyelash kind of yarn. So I'll give you a close-up of that. It's called Almond. And each skein, as mentioned, is a bulky 5. They suggest a 6.5mm knitting needle and crochet hook. So it's machine washable and dryable, which is another A+. And it's very soft. I already mentioned that though, but it's soft. Huga is how you pronounce that. Huga. You can see it right here. Huga. And this is 5 ounces at 141 grams, 132 yards, 121 meters. This might be something that I get excited about. Yeah. I may actually work this pattern. We'll see. But we have 3 of these. Okay. Thank you, Mary Maxim. I'm very excited about this. We've had some months where I was not excited. Like one month they sent knit slippers. I mean, yeah, it would appeal to some, and that's another thing too. Like, I understand their point of view. Like, they're not going to satisfy every single customer. It's just not possible. I get that. So I will stick around and see what next month brings. So very excited about that. And the next acquisition that I have here is one that I found on eBay. So I collect all things vintage. I mentioned that many, many, many times. And so I went ahead and got myself a size 50 knitting needle, just one, singular, for broomstick lace. I'm never going to I'm never going to knit with a size 50 knitting needle. I have no purpose or need for it, but I do have a need for this size for broomstick lace. I wanted to do the stitch tutorial for the Stitch Academy, but I did not have anything thick enough to really execute that stitch, but now I do. And when I saw it on eBay, I said, I have to have it. I don't want two of them. I just want one. And okay, so I have some crochet hooks here. And I got all of this for 17 bucks. A deal and a steal for sure. So this first one here is a hero hook. It is a letter K in green. Letter K. This here was made in Germany. Letter K, and it's in really, really nice shape. No nicks, no nothing. Very, very nice. The next one here is a vintage Susan Bates in gold. Vintage Susan Bates. Next, we have a vintage Susan Bates again. And I should add that these Susan Bates hooks have the prices on them, which I find fascinating because I only thought Boy did that. So there's that. Next, I have another vintage Susan Bates. This one does not have the price tag on it. It just has size 10 or J. 10 or J. I have a boy hook with the quotes. Vintage. If you find a boy hook with the quotes around them, it signifies as a vintage hook. They no longer do that. They haven't done that in such a long time. So there's that. And finally, I have a Susan Bates hook. I don't know if this is vintage or not. I don't know about these gray hooks. I mean, it's aluminum, but it looks like a plastic hook, but it's not. It's aluminum. And then we have a boy number 1, and it's got the price of 35 cents on this hook. Okay. So that is my very quick eBay acquisition. I'm going to add this to my collection. I have little bins for all the different hooks, and my goal is to have a full set of all the different kinds because, you know, even though there are boy hooks out there, there's different kinds of boy hooks. You have boy hooks with parentheses, you have boy hooks that have made in USA, you have boy hooks that have the price on them. So I want full sets of all the things. So I'm working towards that. Same thing with Susan Bates. I have your newer Susan Bates and the vintage Susan Bates, and I want full sets of all the things. So I'm working on it. All right. So with that, let's jump into the replay treats. So just to recap, we have the replay treats from the last podcast. We have this, I'm going to butcher the name, Schkepkes. I know that's not how you say it, but whirl was the magic word for this. So if you were interested in this, that was the word. And the other replay treat was this. This is Sugar Wheel Cotton from Yarn Bee. And the magic word here was wish. Harbor Wish is the colorway name. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so now that you've seen the replay treats, we're going to jump to the random comment picker to pick our winners for this yarn. So I will see you on the other side. Okay, everyone, I'm at the random comment picker. I've got the link installed, the box is checked, and we're going to go with the word whirl first. And I'm going to scroll down. We're only looking for one winner. And let's get those comments. How many comments do we have with the word whirl? 63. Okay, let's pan over and scroll down to our button. Let's click this button to see who our potential winner is. Good luck, everyone. Emilia Rodriguez, 1364. Hola Juan, great makes with the wish yarn and make a baby outfit. With the whirl yarn, I'd make a scarf. Okay, let's arrow over to make sure that Emilia is subscribed publicly to the channel. Okay, so the podcast is being pulled up. All right, let's scroll down, and Emilia's comment should be the first one. It is. Let's click that button there. I usually click on the picture. And there we have it. So Emilia is a public subscriber. So you are my winner. Emilia, congratulations. Please email me at JuanTheYarnAddict@gmail.com with your contact information, even if I already have it, just to confirm that you are claiming your prize. So once I have that information, I can mail out your prize. So congratulations, Emilia. Once again, JuanTheYarnAddict@gmail.com. With that, let's jump back over to the random comment picker. Okay, everyone, we're back at the random comment picker. Everything's the same with exception to the word, which has now been switched out to wish. So let's scroll down. We're looking for just one winner. And let's get YouTube comments. So how many comments do we have with the word wish? So we have 88. Okay, that's great. Let's pan over to the other side of the screen. Scroll down to our magic button. And let's click this button to see who our potential winner is. Good luck, everyone. Cherry Reynolds, 5809. Wow, okay. One, I would make a shawl with the whirl cake. It's beautiful. I would make a hat and scarf with the Harbor Wish yarn as a Christmas present. Okay, perfect. So let's arrow over to make sure that Cherry is publicly subscribed to the channel. I believe she is, but we need to do our checks. Let's scroll down. Okay. There it is. Perfect. And Cherry is publicly subscribed. Congratulations, Cherry. You are my second winner. Please make sure that you email me with your contact information so that you can claim your prize as soon as possible so I can get this mailed out to you. So once again, congratulations. And with that, let's jump back into the podcast. Okay, welcome back, everyone, and a huge congratulations to our two winners from Podcast 102. With that, let's jump into the replay treats for Podcast 103. The first treat here is a two-piece treat, so it comes in two pieces, and here it is. We have Loops and Threads crochet kits. This first one here is a Highland cowl, and the materials are on the back. It comes with everything you need to make this. Absolutely gorgeous. You get the yarn, the filling, the safety eyes, the crochet hook, and the darning needle. Very nice. And the second one here is a dog. And again, it shows the material on the back. So in order to win this, all I need you to do is to tell me in the comments which one is your favorite. So you have the cow or the dog. And be sure to use the word KIT, K-I-T. That is the magic word so that the random comment picker knows that you're interested in this. So the key word is KIT, and just tell me which one is your favorite. You're going to get both regardless, but I kind of want to know which one you like. So there it is. The second one I have here is Ice Yarns Rainbow Picasso. We have a whole set here, brand new, unopened. 82927 is the number, an entire pack. And all I need you to do is to tell me what you would make with this. Magic word is ice. That's the word, ice. All right? So very, very easy. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just tell me what you would want to make with this and use the word ice. Okay, so those are the replay treats for Podcast 103. Good luck. I'll be looking at the comments to see how many of you guys are interested in these prizes. Okay, and so we're now at the final section of the podcast. I have 2 pieces of Happy Mail here. The first one comes to me from a viewer, a friend, a member of the channel. Her name is Kitty, and she sends me this. I pre-opened it to save us some time. And inside we have this. Absolutely adorable. Thank you so much, Kitty. We have a little dragon beanie in pastel colors, of course. And such a lovely time to receive a dragon beanie in all the pastel shades, including pink, right? So that's very, very nice. And there is a note in here from Kitty. It says, whenever you're down, hold me in the palm of your hand and know that I'm here to remind you that you are perfect. All that you are is all that you're meant to be, constructed with intention, designed perfectly. From Kitty Lane. Kitty, thank you so much for this. What thoughtful and special words as well. So I really do appreciate this. I'm going to find somewhere special to put this. Absolutely love it. All right. The second one here comes to me from a dear friend, Penn. Penn sent me this bag a while ago, and it's taken me such a long time to get it into the studio just because we've had all the other things going on. So I have been sitting on this for quite some time, to be perfectly honest with you. And I pre-opened it. It's this bag. Reusable shopping bag. We love reusable shopping bags here in Delaware. So in the bag are books and yarn. So if you don't know this about me already, I absolutely love recipe books. I get a lot of inspiration from the books, from the recipes, whether it be the colorways that are being used or actual stitch combinations. I love all of it. So she knew that, and she sent me some recipe books and some yarn. So I'll show off the yarn. It's all the same yarn. It's for fear of mispronouncing this, it's Alize or Alize. So Alize or Alize yarn, and I believe this is from Hobby Shoppy, and it's very, very soft. This is chunky yarn. I do have the worsted version of this, the 4-weight. This is a 5-weight. This is 100% acrylic, 100 gram skein, 3.53 ounces, and you get 109 yards per skein. This has been Okotex tested and approved against over 150 harmful substances. And let me see here. Let me just make sure I'm speaking correctly to all the things. Okay. So it's not 100% acrylic. I may have suggested that in the beginning, but this is 75 acrylic, 25 wool. And I'm not sure if they're all the same colorway. I think they are. Yes, they are. So there are 10 of these, which is more than enough to create something nice. So 2, 4, 6. I have to take all these out because the recipes are on the bottom. So 6, 8, and 10, which is perfect. All right. And on the bottom here, we have these books. I absolutely love these. We have crocheting and knitting. Look at that on the back. Isn't that inspirational? Like, I just absolutely love looking at all this. I love all the red and all the green. Super, super nice. On the Crochet with JTYA on Sundays, a little while ago, we had the camera over the table and I was flipping through all of the vintage patterns. I need to bring that back because I have a bunch of new recipe books and things. So stay tuned for that. Super nice. Next, I'm very excited about this. Japanese lace stitches. So very excited about this because this opens up the doors to many, many different things, whether it be crochet and or knitting. So stay tuned for this. At first glance, it's looking mostly like knitting, but I don't know. Maybe there's more to this than what I'm noticing right away. So 280 Japanese lace stitches, a dictionary of beautiful open work patterns. The next one here is Afghans to Knit and Crochet. I love these Afghan books. And I'm going to challenge myself one of these days and really take up this project where I knit a blanket. It just seems very, very cumbersome, but I mean, I won't know unless I try it. So stay tuned for that. And then we have this one here, Afghans on the Double. And hardback book. And these are all vintage books, by the way. This one here was printed in 1996. 1996. The Better Homes and Gardens. This one right here was printed when? Let's see. 1986. 1986. The Lace Stitches, I don't think is a vintage book. I don't see a year on here, so I'm just going to say very safely that this is not a vintage book. This one I know is for sure. This one here is 1977. This is an old book, and it's in great, great shape, all things considered. I'm very surprised at how great the condition is for this. Okay, with that, I have another package here from Penn, more recipe books. And then that would be it for the podcast episode. So let me just go ahead and tear this open. I'm very curious to know what she sent me. I pre-opened the top, but here we go. All right. Let's take a look at this. So I may have a double here. So I got a hardback and a softback. So stay tuned. One of these may actually be a replay treat since I have doubles. I'll go through my stash, and if I have other doubles, I'll make like a little pack. If anyone is interested in some of my recipe books, if I have doubles, I'll share them. Okay? So thank you, Penn. Twice as nice, right? I am obsessed with this. I have been looking for this, and it's so awesome that it's in my hands right now. So this is the Crochet Dudes Designs for Guys. An entire book of crochet designs for men. I love this. It's got sweaters and tops, and I saw this online, and I said to myself, I wonder how I'm going to get my hands on this book, because every place I looked for it, it just wasn't available. I mean, V-neck sweaters in crochet. Are you kidding me? Look at that. That's great. And we have a Cubana cardigan. I have my own way of doing cardigans, but I'm open to other ideas here. V-neck rib. That's very nice. All of these are great options. Of course, I would make modifications, you know, for me. Yarn choice is everything. I love this. It's got a zipper front. Oh yeah. I'm very excited about this book. Okay, so I'll be here all day looking at this. Let's move on. The sweater book, How to Knit 50 Spectacular Sweaters, specially designed for this book, by Amy Carroll. Lots of color work. I don't know if I'm that advanced in my knitting, but someday I will be. I'm not giving up. I'm going to stick to it. Practice makes almost perfect. And last but not least, we have the Great Granny Crochet Book. All things granny. Now, I wish that I had this book growing up, but that's okay. This was printed, what year? I know this is old. It feels old. It looks old. 1979. The year I was born. I love this. And it's got all things granny, like cubes, and this is great. So we need another session of Crochet with JTYA with the camera over the table. I think it would be great. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for the podcast episode. I really hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit that like button. Leave a comment or two. If you want to go for the replay treats, make sure you say all the things. And then, of course, share the video. I would definitely appreciate the support. So that is all from me for now. And until the next one, take care. Bye.